Hey everyone, welcome back to the Ledger Labs podcast. I'm Gary Jain, co-founder and CFO advisor here at Ledger Labs. Today I want to share a story about something I see all the time. Business owners who have cash in the bank but are completely paralyzed when it comes to making hiring decisions. They know they need to grow their team, but they have no idea if they can actually afford it. So if that sounds familiar, stick around. This one's going to be really practical. So let me tell you about a conversation I had about 8 months ago. A founder of a global retail company reached out. And when I say global, I mean they were selling products across multiple continents, doing pretty well for themselves. And here's what was interesting. They had $2 million sitting in their bank account. $2 million. For a lot of businesses, that would feel like freedom, right? Like you've got options. But this founder, they were paralyzed. They wanted to hire. They needed to hire actually. Their sales team was stretched thin, they were missing opportunities, and competitors were moving faster. But every time they got close to making an offer to someone, they'd freeze up. Gary, they told me, I have no idea if we can actually afford this. I don't know if hiring someone will help us grow or just drain our cash faster. And that's when I realized this wasn't really about money. They had money. This was about clarity. They didn't have the financial metrics to make confident decisions. They were flying blind. So if you're listening to this right now and you've ever felt that same paralysis, you've got cash in the bank, you know you need to invest in your team, but you have no idea if you're about to make a smart decision or a catastrophic mistake, this story is for you. Okay, so we started digging, and here's what we found. On paper, this company looked healthy. Revenue was solid, they weren't bleeding cash, their balance sheet showed that $2 million reserve. But when I asked them basic questions like, what's your projected growth rate for next year? Or what are your upcoming financial commitments? Blank stares. They thought their problem was hiring strategy. Like, should we hire a salesperson or a marketing person? Should we hire full-time or contract? But that wasn't the problem at all. The real problem? They had no financial baseline, no growth projections, no scenario planning. They were making gut feel decisions in a business that was way too complex for gut feel. Let me give you a specific example. They wanted to bring on a senior sales director, someone who could open up new markets for them. Salary, about $120,000 a year plus commission. Sounds reasonable, right? But here's what they didn't know. They had $850,000 in taxes coming due in the next 6 months. They had lease payments on their warehouse that were about to step up. They had supplier contracts that required upfront deposits. All of a sudden, that $2 million, it wasn't nearly as comfortable as it looked. And nobody had mapped this out. Their bookkeeper was handling transactions. Their tax accountant showed up once a year. But nobody was looking at the forward picture. Nobody was stress testing their decisions. Now, if this sounds familiar, if you're a business owner or a CFO and you're making hiring decisions based on how much is in the bank right now, instead of what does our cash look like 12 months from now, you're not alone. This is one of the most common gaps we see. Most businesses have accountants who can tell them what happened last month. Very few have advisors who can tell them what's going to happen next month. That's the gap. All right, so here's what we did. First, we didn't start with hiring. I know that sounds counterintuitive because that's what they came to us for, but we needed to establish a financial baseline first. You can't make smart expansion decisions if you don't know where you actually are. So phase 1, we analyzed their current financial position. Not just how much cash do we have, but what are our revenue trends? What are our expense patterns? What are our upcoming liabilities? We built out a 24-month financial model, and that's when things started getting interesting. Their revenue had been growing, but it was lumpy. Some months they'd do $400K, other months $250K. When we dug into why, we found that it was entirely driven by a few large retail partners placing seasonal orders, which meant their cash flow was way more volatile than they realized. So we projected out different scenarios. What if those retail partners reduced orders by 20%? What if they stayed flat? What if they grew by 10%? And for each scenario, we mapped out what their cash position would look like month by month. Then, phase 2, we simulated different hiring scenarios. Scenario 1, hire the 120K sales director. What does that do to cash flow? How long until they break even on that hire? What happens if sales don't increase as fast as we hope? Scenario 2, don't hire anyone new, but invest in technology to automate some of their sales processes. Lower upfront cost, but slower growth. Scenario 3, hire the sales director and bring on a part-time marketing contractor. Higher risk, higher potential reward. Now here's where it almost went sideways. About 2 weeks into this process, the founder called me, and they were frustrated. Gary, this is taking too long. We're overthinking this. Let's just hire someone and see what happens. And I get it. When you're used to making fast decisions, this kind of financial rigor can feel like paralysis. It can feel like you're slowing down instead of speeding up. But I told them, look, if you hire the wrong person at the wrong time, you're not just out $120,000. You're out $120,000 plus the opportunity cost of not being able to hire the right person 6 months from now when your cash is tighter. Let's make sure we're making the right call. They trusted the process, and that's when the breakthrough happened. We ran the numbers, and here's what we found. They could afford one strategic hire, but it had to be the right one. A sales director who could directly influence revenue in the short term? Yes. A marketing manager who might take 12 to 18 months to show ROI? Not yet. But here's the kicker. We also identified that they could save up to 30% on operational costs by outsourcing certain non-core functions, things like IT support, administrative tasks, even some of their financial reporting. That created budget flexibility they didn't even know they had. So instead of choosing between hire aggressively and hope it works or play it safe and stagnate, we gave them a third option. Hire strategically, outsource tactically, grow sustainably. All right, so here's where we landed. After all the modeling and scenario planning, we delivered 3 major insights. 1, they could sustain about 5% annual growth over the next 2 years if they controlled expenses and made smart hiring decisions. That might not sound explosive, but for a business in their position, 5% compounding growth without overextending, that's sustainable, that's smart. 2, they had capacity to hire 1 key employee. 1, not 3, not 5. We identified that a senior sales hire, someone who could go after their largest retail partnerships and close bigger deals, would have the fastest ROI. So that's what they did. And 3, by outsourcing IT, admin, and some finance functions, they saved about 30% compared to hiring in-house for those roles. That gave them breathing room. That gave them flexibility to invest where it actually mattered. So what actually happened? They brought on the sales director. Within 6 months, that person had negotiated 2 new retail partnerships that increased their revenue by 18%. 18%. That more than justified the hire. But here's what mattered even more. The founder told me something about 3 months in. They said, Gary, for the first time in years, I'm not second-guessing every financial decision I make. I actually know what we can afford and what we can't. And that's the real win. It's not just about hiring the right person. It's about having the financial clarity to make confident decisions every single day. Okay, so what did I learn from this engagement? 3 things. 1, cash in the bank is not the same as financial clarity. You can have $2 million and still be paralyzed if you don't know what's coming. Build forward-looking projections. Know your liabilities. Understand your cash flow volatility. 2, hiring decisions are financial decisions, not just HR decisions. If you're making hiring calls without modeling the cash flow impact, you're guessing. And in business, guessing is expensive. And 3, strategic hiring plus tactical outsourcing is almost always better than just hiring alone. You don't need to build everything in-house. You need to invest where it moves the needle and outsource where it doesn't. So if you're listening to this and you're a business owner doing between, say, $5 million and $50 million in revenue, and you're sitting on cash but you're not sure how to deploy it, start with a financial model. Map out your growth scenarios. Stress test your hiring decisions. Don't guess. And if you need help with that, that's exactly what we do at Ledger Labs. Reach out, let's talk. Thanks for listening to the Ledger Labs podcast. I'm Gary Jain, and I'll catch you on the next episode.